Captain, before we step onto this improvement and choice island, tell me, what does better make you feel when it means improved quality, a healthier state after illness, and advising the best option with had better? Meaning one, improved, of higher quality or higher level. Used when something is more good than before or compared to another option. Example, Captain, the weather is better today, so we can sail faster. Common use, better than, get better, a better plan. Better weather, meaning two, feeling healthy again, recovering after being sick. Use for recovery and improvement in health. Example, Captain, I feel better after resting in the quiet cabin. Common use, feel better, get better soon, better now. Better soon, meaning three, used in advice, had better. It is strongly recommended. Used when you warn or strongly advise an action. Example, Captain, you'd better secure the cargo before the wind rises. Common use, had better, you'd better, we'd better. Better do it. Better is the comparative of good and often pairs with than better than. In health contexts, you'll hear feel or get better. Choose the kinder path, Captain. Carry better for what improves, for the healing that helps you feel better again, and for the firm advice that says you'd better act before the next wave as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this mind and control island, tell me, what does brain make you feel when it means the organ in your head, intelligence and thinking power, and the person who plans and controls an operation? Meaning one, the organ in your head that controls thought, memory, and the body. Used in science, health, and everyday talk about the body. Example, Captain, the brain needs rest after long nights at sea. Common use, brain cells, brain function, brain scan. Brain health. Meaning two, intelligence, the ability to think well. Used to praise someone's thinking power. Example, Captain, she's got a great brain for navigation. Common use, use your brain, brains over brawn, have a good brain. Brain power, meaning three, the planner or controller behind a project, the mastermind, used for the person who designs and runs the plan. Example, Captain, Grace was the brain behind the rescue schedule. Common use, the brain behind, brain of the team, the brain's trust. Brain behind it. Brain is literal as the organ, but it also means intelligence. Use your brain. And the key planner behind an operation. The brain behind the plan. Phrases like brain scan, brain power, and brain behind quickly reveal the intended meaning. Heal the mind and steer the mission, Captain. Carry brain for the organ that needs care, for the intelligence that solves the route, and for the steady brain behind a plan that keeps the crew safe as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this edge and boundary island, tell me, what does border make you feel when it means the line between places, the outer edge of something, and adding a decorative frame around an object? Meaning 1. The line that separates two countries or areas, a boundary. Used for political or geographic separation. Example. Captain, we crossed the border at sunrise and changed maps. Common use, border crossing, border control, border region. Border crossing, meaning 2, the outer edge of something, the margin or limit. Used for edges of a page, a garden, a sea area, or any space. Example. Captain, stay near the border of the reef, don't cut through it. Common use, border of the page, border of the forest, border area. Borderline, meaning 3, a decorative frame or strip around something, verb or noun. Used when something is surrounded by a designed edge. Example. Captain, they bordered the notice with blue rope to make it stand out. Common use, decorative border, border a photo, border design. Border design. Border can be a geographic boundary, country border, the edge of a space, border of the reef or page, or a decorative frame, a border around a notice. Protect your edges with care, Captain. Carry border for lines that separate places, for safe limits at the edge of danger, and for the simple border that frames what matters as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this almost not island, tell me, what does barely make you feel when it means only just enough, almost not at all, and by a very small margin in time or result? Meaning 1, only just by a small amount, just enough to meet a limit. Used when something happens but only with a tiny safety margin. Example. Captain, we barely had enough water to reach the next harbor. Common use, barely enough, barely fit, barely make it. Barely enough, meaning 2, almost not, hardly, nearly no amount. Used when something is close to 0. Example, Captain, I can barely hear the signal in this wind. Common use, barely hear, barely see, barely notice. Barely hear, meaning 3, only just in time or by a tiny margin, result or timing. Used when you succeed or avoid trouble by a very small difference. Example. Captain, we barely missed the falling boom. One step saved us. Common use, barely in time, barely missed, barely won. Barely in time. Barely focuses on a very small margin. Just enough, almost not, or only just in time. It often pairs naturally with verbs like have, make, hear, see, miss, and manage to show how close the situation is to failure. Honor the tiny margins, Captain. Carry barely for just enough supplies for signals you can barely catch. And for the barely in time step that keeps the voyage safe as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this uncovered and exposed island, tell me, what does bare make you feel when it means uncovered or naked, plain and without extras, and revealing the truth openly? Meaning 1. Uncovered, not covered by clothes or protection. Used for skin, feet, hands, or anything without a covering. Example: Captain, the deck is cold. Don't walk with bare feet. Common use: bare hands, bare feet, bare skin. Bare feet, meaning 2. Plain, without extra decoration, minimal. Used when something has no added features. Example: Captain, the cabin was bare, just a table and a lamp. Common use: bare room, bare walls, bare minimum. Bare, minimum, meaning 3. To reveal or expose the truth. Used when someone makes something openly visible, like facts or feelings. Example: Captain, the report bared the real cause of the failure. Common use: bare the truth, bare your feelings, bare the facts. Bare the truth. Bare can be an adjective, bare feet, bare room, or a verb meaning to reveal, bare the truth. Care with what you expose, Captain. Carry bare for what's uncovered, for the plain essentials that still work, and for the courage to bear the truth when clarity heals the voyage as we sail to the next island.